This is Danny Flexen here for Seconds Out. Delighted to be joined once again by esteemed trainer Peter Fury. Peter, how are you?
I'm good, Danny. It's always a pleasure, mate. It's good to speak with you.
Pleasure's all mine, mate. Pleasure's all mine. Let's start from the obvious starting point. Two fighters that you train, obviously your son Hughie and Savannah Marshall, have both joined Boxer and by extension Sky Sports. Just tell us first of all how that came about and how excited you are about this new chapter.
It's a good. They offer some good opportunities, so I'm very happy with everything with it. The main thing is the boxers are happy, so it's Sky Sports. Obviously, they've both boxed under Sky before, so it's good. I'm very happy. We've got proper set dates now. There's no messing around with opponents. Everything's straightforward, and that's the way I like to work. I just want things to be straightforward. That's the opponent. Let's get on with it. Let's get going. So that's the good thing with Sky. It's we say what we want, they produce it, and that's it. You can't ask for no more. So it's so far so good.
Was it always going to be kind of a package deal, or was there ever a possibility that Hughie would go one way and Savannah would go another?
Well, actually, it was Hughie who we was in talks with at first, so it's up to the boxers really. Savannah, she wanted to go. She wanted to go to Sky. It was a natural thing for her anyway, But it was Hughie we was talking to first, and then they said, would Savannah be interested as well? I'm not sure if Mick mentioned Savannah. He probably did, and so they both ended up going over. So it was fantastic. Better for me as well because it's under the same umbrella.
And how much of a kind of incentive for Savannah to go to Sky was it that they then signed Clarissa Shields so quickly?
Yeah, I think this was all part of it as well. They said they could deliver Clarissa Shields fight in a major fight. They're looking at it's a standalone fight. It's going to be a main event, So it's fantastic for Clarissa Shields and Savannah Marshall. You couldn't get any better, really. They're going to be headlining, a major show. So, it doesn't get any better or any bigger for women's boxing.
How disappointed were Matchroom to lose those two guys, and how keen were they to keep them? Because I believe Eddie Hearn said a week or so ago that there were offers made, but perhaps Hughie would be prioritized more by Sky than by the Zone.
I think that's fair comment from Eddie, and that's it. It is what it is. It's I got no problems, no qualms. I quite like Eddie Hearn. There's no issue whatsoever. Good businessman, very good talker. He deserves what he gets. If he wasn't a clever man, he wouldn't be in the position he is. So full props to him and Matchroom and everybody else. It's just it's what Taylor makes for us. That's all, and it's just better for Hughie and it's better for Savannah. They wanted to go there. It suited them on various reasons. So, some of the reasons I've said, it's like he said. Sky can prioritise where Eddie's got so many fighters to think about. So it's just that's more or less it, really. Nothing major, no fallouts, nothing.
And Hughie's already got a date, of course, as is Savannah, but he's got quite a big fight really for a first one with Boxer and Sky Sports, October the 16th. Christian Hammer, someone well. Obviously, you've been in the opposite corner from him in the past. Were you quite impressed that Sky managed to get an opponent of that stature so quickly in the deal?
Yeah, there's quite a few names banded around. They got that opponent within days. So they said, "What about him?" We said, "Yeah." So that was it. He was, he's the next in line. But it's all done. It's all wrapped up, and we're just looking forward now to the 16th of October.
How do you think Hammer as a fighter has changed since you were opposing him in that corner? Must have been 4 years ago now, maybe longer.
I think he only had about 17 fights back then. He was pretty inexperienced. Obviously now he's a veteran almost. He's only 33 still, but he's had a lot of fights. He's got a lot of experience as well. He knows his way around the ring. So he has got that experience. He's been in with Ortiz. he's had some good fights since way back then. So like I say, he lost against the gold medalist Yoka about 8 months ago, and he gave him a good run for his money, and that was over 10. So yeah, he's good. He's a good, durable opponent.
And what are you looking to see from Hughie? What's the sort of things you guys have been working on that you'd still like to improve? Because Hughie's been around a long time, but he's still a young man.
You know, less is more. That's all it is, Danny, with Hughie. He's just got to relax. You know, we're looking for him to take his time, relax, pick his shots, you know, and dissect his opponents properly. You know, rather than, you know, going out, you know, from 0 to 60 from round 1 to round 10 or 12, you know. So it's just navigating your way around the ring. He's got that maturity with him now. He's well experienced. This is his 29th fight. So yeah, so that's basically it. He's got all the tools in the book, and so we're looking for a good, calm, relaxed, polished performance out of him.
What do you think's been the elements so far that have stopped Hughie taking that final step and winning a world title or winning a big fight at world level like Povetkin, for example? Do you think it is just the age and the maturity?
Yeah, no, absolutely nothing else. I've said it time and time again. You know, you look at his build in the Povetkin fight. You know, he was barely 16 stone. You know, you look at him now. You know, he's a man mounted. You know, we got him sparring with Dave Allen, and Dave Allen's like 19 plus stone. You know, he's not as big as Hughie. You know, Hughie's a big heavyweight. People, you know, look when you're looking at young people coming through, somebody 6'6", heavyweight. You know, it takes time. You know, and he's obviously been slow maturing. So, but he's a different person now, because now they're dealing with an adult. He's a man. So he's filled out. He's coming into his prime years. So he's only just coming to his prime years. So it's very good, and people will see the difference. You already seen some difference with his strength when he fought Marius Wack. You know, and he's come on since then. So it's going to be it'll be interesting.
And is that just a case of him getting older, or have you been doing like strength and conditioning work or anything like that?
Yeah, you know, Peter Clark, he's with him every single day. He's doing a lot of strength work with him and conditioning. He's got him in supreme shape and stuff. So he needs maximum credit for that. You know, I don't get involved with his conditioning side because I've no need, because Peter Clark does it.
And with regards to Savannah, her last performance against Hannah Rankin would be described by most people, I think, as punch perfect. Never looked better, and against her best opponent so far as a pro as well. Where does the improvement come from with her? Because you look at that fight and you think, well, what does she need to improve on? It was a very well-rounded performance.
Yeah, believe it or not, she is improving. Styles make fights. So it is what it is. Constantly working on stuff, but she's getting better, Savannah. We want Savannah to be in very good fights, if we, you know, but it's getting them. That's the problem. It's just getting them. They're either tied up having unification fights or one thing or another. But, you know, I'm sure Sky will step up to the plate just like they are doing, and in December, you know, get her a really good fight.
How powerful is she? Because a lot's been made about her being a real puncher, particularly for the female side of the sport. I'm not sure how many women you've taken on the pads and stuff, but how does she compare generally in terms of her strength and her power?
Well, you can't say anymore. Look, you know, it's just seeing is believing. You know, you've got sparring gloves on, you've got a head guard on, but yet she sparred with somebody 80 kilos and broke their eye socket with a right hand. So tell me, can she punch?
Yeah.
You know, so that's what I'm saying. You know, she's a big hitter. She can definitely hit, and when you hit, you stay hit. She's one of them. She definitely got. She's got lead in her hands. Let's put it that way. She can hit.
Do you ever encourage not just Savannah but Hughie as well to be a bit more outgoing, a bit more talking, and that kind of thing? Because there is that side of the sport as well as the actual in-ring stuff, and they're quite quiet, retiring characters by nature.
You know what it is? It's not for me. I'm interested in one thing. I'm not interested in lifting a weight and conditioning. That's not my thing. I'm not interested in people's, talking. I'm not interested in that. Personally, I'm interested in what happens when the bell goes.
Mm.
That's where it ends with me. So I'm not going to tell Savannah or Hughie, step out of your own personality and do something else to sell a ticket. For me, I just want them to be themselves and be very, very good fighters. That's all I ask for, because what I see today, call it showmanship, call it whatever you want. It's gone over the top, almost to cringe stuff. That's what I see. So I'm definitely not into what I see today anyway. Could be old fashioned or whatever you want to call it, but I think be polite, have good manners, respect people, and get in and do the fighting. And if you're good enough, you're going to get there anyway.
Do you see yourself ever bringing anyone else, any other fighters, into the camp? You seem very satisfied, very content with what you've got at the moment. But could it happen if it was a real talent or someone you really liked?
Now that I've got Peter Clark working with me, it's possible, because I haven't got to do the strength and conditioning. There's more time there. I've got help. But a one man by himself, it's not possible. So that's why I've never been interested before. But I'm not really that interested now, to be honest. I've got things to do with Savannah. I've got things to do with Hughie, and I don't like doing half of a job. If I set about something, I'll stick with it until it comes right. In the end, I've always been like that. If somebody need, I've always been there for everybody, and Savannah and Hughie are my priority more than anything at this present time. And I've got young fighters in the gym now, and they're doing the thing and coming through, and but they've got a long journey, and if I can help and advise them, fantastic. I'm happy to do that. I'll help anybody. But like I said, on world level boxing right now, it's all about Hughie and Savannah.
Fair enough. And you mentioned a little while ago about kind of the more cringy aspects of boxing that talkers and some stuff's gone too far. Can't help referring to the weekend's event, the Triller show, of course, where we saw a very sad ending in the main event for Evander Holyfield, who is a legend of the sport. Very sad to see, certainly from my point of view. What did you make of it all?
Well, it's sad, isn't it? What can you say? Evander Holyfield is one of the best men that's ever laced gloves on. The man is a legend in the sport. I got the highest respect for him, and I still have, to be fair. That doesn't affect me at all. Let's get back to the basis of it, Danny. Yeah, we've seen Evander Holyfield as a young man. We've seen him in wars of fights. Why do we want to see old men box when we can see young men box? Where's the attraction in it? Is that old fighter, yeah, with grey hairs, yeah, ready to go on a walking stick? Is that old fighter, yeah, better to watch than a young world level fighter? Do we not get old for a reason? It's fighting back the years. I don't think people in the 50s should fight. What about if they get it and then they get brain damage? What kind of families have they got anyway? Yeah. If I said to my son, if I took a brain walk, which I'd have to do, yeah, I want to get beat around the head in my 50s, and said to my sons, yeah, I'm going to start fighting in the ring. I've got sons like we had our father. If anybody touched my father and even spoke badly to my father, they'd have serious consequences from it when I was a young man, because that's my dad, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically, I'm sure how my sons would be. They wouldn't even let me do it if I wanted to do it. That's people need to speak up and stop all this bollocks, because that's what it is. Listen, I'm a full advocate of people getting in the gym in the 50s, training. And there's some serious athletes out there in the 50s that can do great things. But I don't agree getting punched all around the head and punched all in the face. What for? To get a payday, or to get some celebrity status, which you had back in the day, and you want it back again because you don't want to lose the limelight. Let's have a reality check and people need to search the souls here, what it's all about. But Evander Holyfield, he's a terrific man, terrific champion, and all this call out of over 50s, nobody's interested in it. Nobody's interested in it. This is all about today, young fighters doing the best they can, and boxers doing the best they can, and trainers and managers and promoters doing the best they can. It's not about anybody else. It's all about programming, getting the fighter to do the best he can do. That's it. Because I can tell you now, if my son wasn't in boxing and I wasn't training, nobody would hear of me in boxing. I would turn up with my suit on, with a tie, yeah, get myself a ringside ticket and pay for it, yeah, and sit there and watch my son box. Because I'm not involved in boxing. But because I'm training and I'm working with fighters and I'm involved in the sport, that's why I'm here, isn't it? That's why I've got a job to do in the sport. But getting back, it's the same as anything else, Danny. Getting back to these fighters, old men shouldn't fight. If you can't do it when you're younger, then don't do it at all, isn't it?
And
you've had your time.
Does the same apply in your opinion? Because he's not over 50, but he has certainly seen better days. Does the same apply to David Haye, who was also on that show?
But how old is David Haye?
He's got to be, what, late 30s, early 40s, I guess?
I don't know. If he's 40 plus, he should forget it. That's not, you know, I know the man's had injuries and everything else, but he's had 2 showings against Tony Bellew, and he got beat convincingly both times, and that was a cruiserweight. You know, this is the heavyweight division, and you know, it's not for me. It's just my opinion. I'm not going to say to people like him not to box, not to do anything, not to do this, but you know, real boxing fans really ain't that interested. You know, he's had his day, hasn't he? His best years are behind him. He ain't going to peak what he's already done. And he's done some great things, David. He's had a good career. He's done well out of it. World champion. Couldn't ask for no more. So is he going to better that with what's around today, the up-and-coming hungry fighters? I doubt it.
Do you sympathise with them at all, that they find it so hard to let boxing go?
Yeah, I can, because you know, I can understand a boxer as basically nothing else. It's all about that fight game. And when that's left, I suppose they drop out of the spotlight and things like this. You know, not all boxers, because some boxers, they've got good families, they've got other business interests. They've got a bridge to step to. But a lot of other fighters, they haven't. You know, and they must crave that, you know, wanting to be in the spotlight, not forgotten. I don't know what it is. But basically, what everybody needs to understand, people want to see good fights. And, you know, world level fights here, which for me, boxing, it's a young man's sport. It's not an old man's sport.